Hello and welcome to another Tuesday edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. The 2025 Grade 6 Primary Exit Profile exams will start on Thursday, February 20. We wish all students the best of luck and encourage parents to keep supporting their children. All right. That said, coming up in today's show, the Jamaica Fire Brigade speaks strategies and explains how the use of technologies can help to prevent and mitigate fire risks. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, February 18, 2025. Jamaica's economy remains strong and resilient, asserts Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, as he also refutes claims that the country is currently in a recession. He makes the point that while economic growth declined for 2 quarters last year, that by itself does not mean the country is in a recession.
The slowdown in GDP is not by itself a sign of recession. More things would have to happen. For example, if there were truly a recession and production fell, one would suggest that businesses would also be closing and unemployment would be rising. That is not the case in Jamaica. Businesses aren't closing. Unemployment isn't rising. In fact, for the last 7 years, our unemployment rate has been going down, trending towards full employment.
The Prime Minister adds that last year's economic performance must be viewed in the context of a hurricane, tropical storm, and several weeks of heavy rainfall, which destroyed crops, disrupted electricity, and damaged road infrastructure. Still, he stresses that despite these challenges, the country has shown resilience.
We have been building an economy that is resilient, meaning when things hit us, we are able to absorb the hit and bounce back.
Mr. Holness says the progress in job creation, with unemployment at an all-time low, debt reduction, and investment are all key indicators of a robust and well-managed economy. This, he says, is why the government was able to reduce its debt payment obligations for the upcoming fiscal year and use the fiscal space created to do things that benefit people, such as providing them with housing through the NSHP.
It means your country is doing better. You have $154 billion less in debt principal to repay, and you're repaying $4 billion less in interest repayment.
The Prime Minister was speaking on Friday at a new social housing program NSHP handover ceremony in Dobson in Colleyville, Manchester. During another NSHP function on Friday, this time in Cave Valley, St. Anne, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness declared that the government was focused on economic independence and empowering citizens to become self-reliant.
We want you to be economically independent. You can stand on your own 2 feet, earn your own income, push your own key, make your own decisions. We don't believe in dependency. We don't want nothing from nobody. We're going to do it on our own, with our own resources.
Dr. Holness says that as the country navigates the complexities of a changing global landscape, the government remains dedicated to building a strong and resilient economy capable of weathering shocks. He says the dual focus on economic independence and social responsibility is central to the government's vision for Jamaica's future.
We must be able to stand up and take the blows, absorb them, get back on our feet and grow. Nobody is coming to save us. Nobody is giving us any favors. It's a new world.
In other news, approximately $195.67 million has been allocated in the budget for the upcoming fiscal year for work on 2 justice centers. This is contained in the 2025-2026 estimates of expenditure, which was tabled in the House of Representatives by Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Favour Williams, on February 13. $90.54 million is earmarked to begin the construction of the Clarendon Justice Center. $105.13 million is budgeted to continue and conclude the construction of the Hanover Justice Center, which is currently 15% complete. Both are designed to improve citizens' access to justice services and facilitate the provision of restorative justice, child diversion, and mediation services in the respective parishes. Minister of Education, Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, is calling for all stakeholders to prioritize education as a key strategy for developing a skilled labor force to secure Jamaica's future. She made the call during the recent 15th anniversary march and launch event for the National Education Trust, NET, in Kingston. Dr. Morris Dixon emphasized NET's impactful work, particularly in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl and the ongoing efforts to strengthen Jamaica's education system. She explained that NET had dispersed over 42,000 devices through its One Laptop or Tablet per Child initiative.
This milestone would not have been possible without the stakeholders, partners, and donors who have continuously invested in our children's future. Today, while we celebrate NET, we also honor the dedication and contributions of our partners.
The 15th anniversary celebration highlighted NET's impact, reinforced partnerships, and aimed to inspire ongoing collaboration and investment in the advancement of Jamaica's education sector. And finally, 10 students at the Ensom City and Eltham Park primary schools in St. Catherine are recipients of tablet computers under the Universal Service Fund USF Connect a Child program. The initiative aims to support academically gifted students experiencing financial challenges by providing them with essential digital tools for their educational success. At the handing over ceremony, Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport Olivia Grange implored students receiving the tablets to continue striving for excellence and to not allow social circumstances to deter their dreams. She also advised parents and educators to recognize and acknowledge key traits in children such as curiosity, significant vocabulary, original ideas, and self-teaching ability. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
It's that time when we update you on the key events and developments at the Office of the Prime Minister over the last week. Welcome to Jamaica House Weekly.
Prime Minister prepares for upcoming budget year, keeps abreast of works within government departments and agencies, and delivers more NSHP houses in Manchester and St. Anne. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Jabertha Atkinson. Welcome. Making way for the 2025-2026 budget year, Parliament was prorogued on Tuesday, followed by the ceremonial opening of the legislature on Thursday. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness led his team of ministers, senators, and other heads of ministries, departments, and agencies for the joint sitting of the Houses of Parliament. New and ongoing projects, legislative agenda, and achievements of the government were delivered in a throne speech by Custos of Kingston, the Honourable Stedman Fuller. He was deputizing for Governor General Sir Patrick Allen. Later that afternoon, the estimates of expenditure for financial year 2025-26, along with other supporting documents, were tabled in Parliament. It proposes a $1.26 trillion budget for the government. This will go before the Standing Finance Committee for deliberation. Prime Minister Holness sought and got approval from the Governor-General for the appointment of 3 new government senators. They were sworn in on Thursday after the ceremonial opening of Parliament. They are strategist and public policy expert Delano Seavright, communications specialist Marlon Morgan, and urologist Dr. Elon Thompson. They will fill the vacant posts left by the resignation of Delroy Williams and Ransford Braham and the earlier resignation of Matthew Samuda, who was subsequently elected a Member of Parliament. Expressing gratitude to the former senators, Dr. Holness says they have played integral roles in advancing the government's legislative agenda and have served the people of Jamaica with distinction. In welcoming the new senators, he says they bring a wealth of experience and expertise that will bolster the government's legislative efforts and further national priorities. The Prime Minister also underscores that the appointments reflect his administration's continued commitment to strong, effective leadership and governance. Two families in Manchester and St. Anne are now proud homeowners after receiving their keys from Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. The handover took place on Friday under the new social housing program.
God not done with me, so I get one whole house to myself. God did on my side. I mean, I appreciate it.
And we are very pleased to be able to do this. In fact, we have been doing this now for the last 4 or 5 years, and we have assisted many persons who are elderly, persons who have disabilities, persons who are indigent, persons who would have suffered loss by virtue of fire and other disasters. And we are certain that this program is making a difference.
On the weekend, Prime Minister Holness also supported the Sagicor Sigma corporate run, which raised $128 million. The proceeds will support the Kingston Public Hospital Intensive Care Unit, the Sir John Golding Rehabilitation Center, and Father Ho Long and Friends Foundation's Bethlehem Home.
Health is important. And this is a good movement for the health of the nation. And I want to encourage everyone here, take your health seriously. Believe me, I am trying to follow my own advice.
And finally, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness continued his meetings with heads of departments and agencies for an update on projects being worked on and those to come on stream. Last week, he met with the Greater Bernard Lodge developers, the Jamaica Mortgage Bank, and the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA. The Prime Minister also met with the Rent Assessment Board, the National Spatial Data Management Branch, and the Port Authority of Jamaica. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Today, we can report 2 consecutive years of reduction in major crimes and murders, with a significant reduction of almost 20% in murders for 2024.
Between January 2022 and January 2025, we have reduced murders by 51%. And January 2025 had the lowest monthly murder count since September 2014.
Our efforts have also resulted in the reduction of active gangs by 50%. We continue to increase firearm seizures, and in more communities, we are experiencing less violence. We will realize our vision of Jamaica as the place of choice to live, work, do business, raise families, and retire in peace and prosperity.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
With the rise of fire-smart technologies, the Jamaica Fire Brigade is encouraging homeowners to use them for added safety. Let's take a look at the options available.
The Jamaica Fire Brigade, JFB, is urging the public to invest in fire-smart technology. As technology advances, there is an increased emphasis on how individuals can utilize these innovations to create safer environments. Employing technology in fire safety not only enhances security, but also significantly reduces the risk of human error.
It allows for functions such as automotive equipment monitoring for electrical and other faults to be automated. So it can man your electrical outlet, and it can tell you when there's a spike in the energy or an increase in your voltage, and it can shut the system down if it detects the power is above what is required, and that can prevent fire from occurring. It reduces the need for human intervention, which facilitates by the approaches of the uses of digital technology, and reduce the life exposure to unsafe conditions.
The brigade also recommends integrating fire safety systems into existing home security setups at an affordable cost.
It's something that we want to encourage people to do, because when you look at the value of what you have in your homes, spending less than 50 or less than $100 to protect that value makes sense. When you have that fridge in your house that you pay over $700,000 for, you have that TV that you spend over $100,000 for, you have your stove and all of these things. When you have these things in your house, you can protect them. Most of these smoke detectors that you can use in your home cost less than $15 per one, and we're talking about smoke detectors which have testing capabilities.
Here are some fire smart systems to consider. 1. Smart fire extinguishers.
And you might be saying, how can a fire extinguisher be smart? The fire extinguishers that they're making these days, which are smart, if you remove the fire extinguisher from the stand, it automatically triggers the fire alarm system.
2. Smart outlet.
Devices that you must run 24 hours at your home, we recommend that you get them connected to a smart outlet. What the smart outlet does, it allows you to be able to turn off the outlet remotely. So if something happens and you need to turn that outlet off, you can just go on your phone and you can turn the outlet off.
3. Smart home hub and assistance.
So what we're saying, most of the first aid firefighting appliances that we're talking about now, you can connect them to your smart hub. So if you have a camera system and you connect it to Alexa, Siri, Google Home, the one hub can monitor these, because the way they make them, they are compatible with the major hubs that you have. So you can have one means of monitoring these smart devices. So you don't have to be going into different apps.
4. Smart fire alarm system.
These systems offer advanced fire detection capabilities, integrating smoke, heat, gas sensors with real-time monitoring. They can send alerts to building managers. So if you're running a commercial complex, you can tie these to your security company who manage or who monitor your premises for alert.
By investing in these technologies, individuals and businesses can significantly enhance their fire safety measures and protect their valuable assets. Don't forget, though, that in the event of a fire, it is crucial to contact emergency services immediately at 112 or 119.
One thing we need to remember is that there are many persons out there in our family, community, wider society who may be having challenges, and that these persons sometimes need to be heard, sometimes need to be helped, sometimes need to be hugged, right? And the best we can do to promote mental wellness in our community is just to be there for people, to be able to hear them, to be able to hug them, to be able to help them, you know? And let's all be our brother's keeper and make this place a better place, and a place that is conducive to good mental health and mental wellness.
Thanks for staying with us on Jamaica Magazine. Whether you're planning to build or buy a home, there are some things you ought to consider, especially when it comes to the types of materials that you use. Let's take a look at some of the need to know with an architect.
Living on an island where the climate can shift dramatically, from scorching heat to sudden downpours and the occasional natural disasters like hurricanes and earthquakes, and knowing how to design our homes is more crucial than ever. Each site, whether on flat land or mountainous terrain, presents unique challenges that emphasize the importance of tailored, site-specific architectural solutions that cannot be overstated. In a recent discussion with an architect, Conrad Jackson, we delved into the complexities of designing buildings that harmonize with their specific environments. And according to Mr. Jackson, effective design begins with choosing the right materials and adapting to local conditions. Weather is among the conditions to be considered when building. For Jamaica, heavy rainfall is a significant concern at different times of the year. Mr. Jackson makes the point that the initial step in the design process involves knowing the environment in which you are building.
As it relates to heavy rainfall, once you start doing your investigation as a consultant to go onto a particular site, one of the things you do is you interview the locals and you also do your research for the type of activities that would have taken place within the last 100 years as it relates to climate change, the impacts of flooding, and how the impact of climate change and the increase in the sun and the intensity of the sun for the specific year.
To combat rising temperatures, insulation plays a crucial role. It's recommended to insulate wooden walls with materials such as foam or creating air cavities with concrete blocks to significantly reduce heat transfer. In addition, incorporating cross ventilation and shading devices helps to minimize direct heat gain. For homes near the coast, where rising sea levels and salt corrosion pose risks, selecting the right materials is essential.
You need to use those particular materials to mitigate against the salt corrosive nature of the environment. So for argument's sake, for a door, you'd probably be using aluminum hinges or brass hinges or brass hardware or nickel type finished stuff that you would not necessarily have to use inland.
When it comes to hurricane-prone regions, the choice of roofing is critical. Mr. Jackson describes a roofing solution called a standing seam.
So what that is a corrugated type of sheeting that has a seam that's about 1.5 inches tall. Which is also that 1.5 inches tall seam is specially crimped, and it is all actually screwed down to the rafters and the sacking that is underneath that sheeting to give it stability in case of a hurricane. The seam itself is so tall that the amount of water that will capture on a roof between the run from the peak of the roof, the highest point, to the eave of the roof, that the water will not build up and pass the height of that seam. The sheeting that would be used in that case can also be cut specific to the length of the roof, which means that if you consider old-time zinc roof, they came in particular lengths because it could only be transported on shorter trucks and it was easier to handle. But the roofing material now, which I'm suggesting, which is standing seam, can be cut at the specific length of this roof.
For existing structures with zinc roofs, Mr. Jackson recommends adding fiberglass insulation between rafters.
As it relates to heat and the roof, you can get roof sheeting that is also insulated with foam embedded in it, as well as there are numerous things that can be done. You can put in fiberglass insulation in between the rafters, which will help to minimize the heat gain between the rafters, the ceiling, and the occupant of that space. So it acts as a buffer then, and it acts the same way it does as the foam, sprayed on foam like you see on the exterior of some of these buildings. It really just helps to slow down the heat transfer from the exterior to the interior of the space.
Ultimately, as Mr. Jackson stresses, it's important to remember that a house is one of your biggest investments.
Real estate in general, for most persons, when you're going to be doing this, choose wisely. Use registered professionals who can help you fulfill your dream and make this dream become a reality in the right way.
Know your numbers and control the keys to a healthier heart. Know the numbers for your blood pressure, cholesterol level, blood glucose level, and your weight and body mass index. Find out the risks they represent and what you need to do to stay healthy. Talk to your doctor and start making healthy lifestyle choices to prevent a heart attack or stroke.
Built out a host of drones, a fleet of drones that we use to manage our land resource, and they include small drones like the DJI Mavic 2 that I have, and also the larger drones like the DJI Matrix 350.
The National Land Agency, NLA, utilizes drones to effectively manage land resources through inspections. For smaller properties, the NLA employs smaller drones. In contrast, for larger properties, the agency opts for larger drones that can cover more ground and conduct longer flights to map extensive areas. The NLA integrates drone technology across several departments. It uses drones for land valuation, inspections, and deratings. Additionally, the drones assist in property mapping, cadastral surveys, and topographic surveys. The agency's estate management division also benefits from this technology, as it aids in managing various properties and land leases.
We've also incorporated the technology in hydrographic surveys. So we're mapping many of our piers, many of our nearshore harbors, and we're using the drone technology to assist the hydrographers as well in their work. Additionally, we have implemented a drone pilot training course where individuals can come and they can be trained as drone pilots. That's a tremendous course. It actually has taken off very well. It's a 3-week course and it's a premium course. So we do advise that persons can come and become a part of that course, and when they leave, they'll be certified drone pilots. Our HR department, they have a form that can be filled. So once someone has an interest, they can give us a call, and we can actually give them the information as to how to sign up for that course. Currently, the cost of this course is 150,000 Jamaican dollars. We have kept that cost for the last 3 years. And this is a premium course, it's worth much more than that. When an individual comes into this course, they will learn the theory behind drone technology. They will learn how to do drone maneuvers so that they can be safe while flying. They will learn all the rudiments of the drone and how it works. They'll also learn the legal requirements. So they'll learn how to apply for a permit to fly. They'll learn how to operate within the airspace, which most persons who are flying drones do not understand, that there are laws, regulations, do's and don'ts. So it's a very packed course, and the persons will leave as robust pilots.
And that's it for today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Remember, it does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. Do join us again tomorrow for another informative program. In the meantime, visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for more news you can use. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Stay safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.